So, 72-hour fast. Here's how it went. I know many of you guys are looking for a body transformation, mind transformation, and maybe even a deeper spiritual connection or a spiritual transformation. So, guys, this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how what I gained by going through a 72-hour fast, the results that I got, the benefits that I got, and what you can do if you want to do a 72-hour fast in the future and you want to make sure you see it through. Okay? I'm going to try to make this as structured as possible. I'm also going to try to not make this an hour-long video. But main thing I want to say before we get started is if any of you guys have questions about a 72-hour fast, comment under this video and I'll come in here, and if we get a bunch of comments and questions that are all the same, I'll do another follow-up video on the entire process. But I'll also say this as we kick it off. So I did this 72-hour fast while I was sick. I still trained, and I didn't have weeks in advance where I planned for it. I just dove right in. I started getting the idea on Monday, Tuesday last week, and then by Thursday, I started it. So if any of you guys, man, I had heard about the 72-hour fast like trending, and Dana White had been talking about it a lot, and people were kind of scrutinizing some of the things that he was saying, and arguing that some of the benefits that he talked about didn't actually happen. But basically what ended up happening is I just like to try shit for myself, so I dove into it, and not only did I get massive benefits physically, mentally, and spiritually, but I also came out of it not sick anymore. I was hurting last week, okay? So I'm going to talk to you guys about it, share my experience with you, and if you guys want to do a fast with me in the near future, just reach out to me on Instagram, because we had a small group that we put together for this last one, and it was really cool having everybody go through the fast at the same time. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to push you guys to do fasting, but I figure when I did this last one, I figured it would be important to have a community. That way we could help each other. So anyways, here we go. 72-hour fast. I got the idea to do a 72-hour fast because a friend of mine works alongside Dana White, and they did the 72-hour fast and were raving about it afterwards. And this is somebody that I truly, truly respect. And when they said that it was amazing, I said, okay, I got to try this. But unfortunately, that phone call was on Tuesday of last week. And by Wednesday, I woke up horrible. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had COVID. I didn't get tested for it or whatever. But the symptoms were horrible. And I haven't been sick in 2 years. I couldn't move. I was super fatigued. My heart rate would just get jacked every time I did move. My face was flush. I had a hard time seeing. It was nasty. So I gave it a day, and I decided I wanted to do the 72-hour fast, and I chose to do it Thursday night into Sunday. The reason I chose that time was so that I could be focused on it, and I figured those were the best days where I could prioritize the 72-hour fast. My wife decided to jump in. She also got sick. She was throwing up, and she was in a bad state as well. So Thursday night, we started the fast at 7 p.m. Friday was a tough day. We were both very, very hungry off and on throughout the entire day. But we both made a committed decision to do the fast. Saturday was less hunger, but still, you still had, basically on Saturday, the way I would describe Saturday is that on Friday, I had the cravings for food and the hunger for food. On Saturday, I didn't really want to eat. I didn't have the cravings to eat, but I wanted the food in my mouth. Does that make sense? I just wanted the taste. But and then Saturday, the challenge with Saturday was that we knew that the fast was ending on Saturday, and so we were like, how do we not think about 7 p.m. when the fast ends? How do we, what do we do with our time? What do we think about? That way we're not just thinking about this all day. and being impatient. But what ended up happening was I still trained every day. I did a mix of cardio, light cardio, weight training. And by Saturday, I felt better. Sunday, I wasn't sick anymore. Now, how I did the fast. Apparently, there's a lot of different ways. I'm not a fasting expert. I'm pretty new at it. But apparently, people do 24-hour fasts. They do 36 hours, 72 hours. And then they go on and on for days sometimes. You can do what's called a dry fast. You can do what's called a fucking water fast. So what I did was a water fast. But the way it was taught to me was to do water and electrolytes for the fast. I chose to still do my coffee in the morning, and throughout the entire weekend, I did have an espresso around lunchtime. So I'd have a cup of coffee around 4 o'clock in the morning and then an espresso around noon. Looking back on it, I think that maybe I should take away the espresso if I do it again, but I still got massive results. So what ended up happening by the end of the 72-hour fast is I lost close to 10 pounds while being hydrated. I was still hydrated at the end, so that was pretty solid. I mean, you guys can see I'm pretty freaking lean right now. And so I lost 9 pounds. But the biggest thing that happened to me was the few of the biggest things that happened to me. Since I did it with my wife, we had joint suffering and we connected deeper, right? Like we had a common thing that we were going to do together. And when we were hurting, we were talking about it. So that caused us to deepen our connection to one another. Another thing was that I was sick when I started the fast, and as I came out of it, I wasn't sick. I don't know if the fast caused me to get better or not, but all I know is that I did get better. What else? As I got into the fast, once I got past the hunger stage on the first day, I got massive amounts of clarity. And when I mean clarity, when I say clarity, I mean that I knew I could see what was the most important thing for me to focus on in the day that I was in. If I asked my question, you know how you ask yourself questions like, where am I going in life? What's my purpose? What should I do with my business, my career? Well, those answers were super crystal clear as I was going through the 72-hour fast. I mean, I have this program called The Table in my coaching where we build the best you. We help you guys with discipline, high performance, fitness, nutrition, mindset. And I was like kind of figuring out what I should do with that program to make it better. And the voice that I heard inside my head just said, teach more personal development. Teach more personal development in The Table. Teach them about limiting beliefs. Teach them more about just like frequency and energy. Teach them how to, like the law of attraction. Teach them how to attract things into their life, how to build better relationships. Teach them how to, when they commit to a body goal, like a body transformation, teach them how to commit to it truly by aligning their transformation to a purpose. And the voice was telling me just to blow that program up because more people need that personal development and then that transformation. So it was very, very clear, and that was a big epiphany for me, because I was a little bit confused kind of before I started really exploring those thoughts. So I would say if you guys are going to go into the fast, if somebody goes into a fast, a 72-hour fast, and only wants a body transformation, you want to lose weight, I don't think you're getting the most out of it. I think the weight loss is just an added benefit. The clarity that I got for 3 days, asking any question that was on the top of my mind, like that is so valuable because how many of you guys are confused? How many of you guys feel stuck, frustrated? And the last thing I'll say on the clarity is that in my program, The Table, where we coach you on discipline, high performance, I actually do macros for everybody. I give them a diet, and the effects that I felt through fasting, the focus that I felt through fasting is very similar to the focus that I feel when my macros are dialed in and I'm running that plan perfectly. It's just a whole nother level. So very, very similar. Now, the last thing here is the spiritual side. So I didn't go initially start the challenge, the 72-hour challenge, to strengthen my spiritual connection to God. But I decided to do the 72-hour challenge because I wanted to strengthen my discipline. Discipline is a muscle. If you don't use it, it's going to get weaker. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do this to strengthen my discipline. And then I started learning more and more about fasting. And obviously it goes back like thousands of years in damn near, tons of different religions. So fasting so suffering is the gateway to consciousness. And consciousness is the gateway to God. So when you suffer, you can hear the voice inside of your soul telling you what to do. Whenever I've been really hurting in life, that voice came through me. When I did my 100-mile race with no train up, I heard a voice. That voice helped me get through the race. When I was getting out of the military, that voice came through me. It told me what to do. I listen to that consciousness a lot, that inner dialogue. And whenever it's pointing me towards a positive act, I associate that positive act as God telling me to go that direction. And I used to be agnostic, by the way, guys, damn near atheist. So my point is, regardless of what your spiritual and religious beliefs are, if you want to develop a deeper connection with yourself or God or the universe, if you listen to what is being told to you when you go through the fast, you're going to have ahas, you're going to have epiphanies. And I felt absolutely enlightened, and I felt like I could hear God better throughout the entire fast, and like I can hear him better now. Okay? So when you suffer, you hear the voice the loudest, and that voice is basically God coming through. So suffering is the gateway to consciousness and your connection to God. Whenever I started really hurting and I wanted to eat, one of the things that I did is I prayed or I visualized. I visualized and I meditated periodically throughout the entire 3 days. That was a way for me to kind of dissociate from what was happening. But why I really did it was because when I would visualize, the visions would be super clear. And when I meditated, the feelings that I would bring up would be very, very strong, very amplified. Normally when I meditate, I kind of have to work those emotions up. So tons of benefits. I basically learned how to course correct my business by going deep within throughout the fast. I was reminded of how much discipline I actually have for me to go from not ever doing a 72-hour fast to doing it kind of just diving right in and not deviating at all. That was impressive. Not a lot of people can do that. And then, so that was the mindset piece. I grew a stronger mindset through it. And then, the spiritual side, like I said, I developed a stronger spiritual connection with God, and I feel like he's guiding me more, and I know exactly what to do with my business, my life, and some things that I need to let go of as well, So I'm excited to do it again. I'm going to probably build these 72-hour fasts into my lifestyle, build it into my year periodically. I don't know if it's going to be monthly or whatever. But, yeah, guys, I think that my biggest takeaway for everybody that's considering doing it is I don't know if there's a right way to do it. I think you're just supposed to jump in and use your best judgment, find the path that challenges you the most, and then just like everything in life, work hard on yourself with the task. Because if you try to do it right, I think that takes away from you figuring out, like if you try to do it according to somebody else's expectations, how they say to do it, I don't think you're going to learn everything that you're looking for. I was looking for a challenge, but I was also looking for those things in my business. I was looking for course corrections in my business. I was looking for course corrections in life, and I was looking for a deeper connection for God. And I found that by not really trying to do the fast right, just by learning and kind of guiding myself through it. But I watched a lot of people. There's a handful of people that tried to do the fast with us, and I watched a lot of people struggle. Some people had a really hard time getting through the first 24 hours. Some people struggled with like 36. And then a handful of people made it through the 72. So I think that if you have a low level of discipline, you might want to start with like the 24-hour fast. That might be a good, like, easy win for you to get. And then build yourself up. But I did do it without any type of preparation, building myself up. So I know you guys can too. I just don't know where you're currently at. And that's kind of up for you to decide, all right? If you don't want to let yourself down and you're kind of one of those people that fail a lot, maybe start with the 24-hour, If you're one of those people that you like pull off whatever you set your mind to, fuck it, go for the 72. Obviously, all you guys, make sure you check with your doctors and don't do anything that's going to compromise your actual health and life. But huge benefits. Oh, and the last thing is my energy. I thought that not eating, I was going to have low energy. I actually had more energy. I ran 5 miles on day 2, and I was fine. I did have periods where I felt a little bit flush and lightheaded, but my overall energy, like, and my mood was just next level. I have huge mood swings, and I have the belief now that a lot of my mood swings come from the food that I'm eating, because when I didn't eat the food, my mood was normal. It was fucking steady. And apparently when you go through a fast, your body kind of sheds all the old dead cells. It sheds all the bad energy that you've been holding on to, whether it's stress or trauma. And I'll tell you, I felt neutral as I went through the fast. Like, I felt like I wasn't carrying around as much stress. I wasn't carrying around as much worry. And I felt emotionally cleansed after I went through it. One little weird thing that I noticed as I went through it too was that my mouth started tasting kind of weird. I don't know if that was the ketones, but I felt like I was kind of like eating like copper pennies or something after about the first day and a half, 2 days. And what I understood after I studied it, what I read was that your body literally kills all these like cells inside you. It starts eating these dead cells, and your things like your taste buds. And there's different parts of your cells inside of your body that are going to be metabolized. And so, when we had our meal at the very end, everything tasted like our taste buds were amplified, like 100x. Took a bite of this steak. We had steak and sushi. Took a bite of the steak. I could taste all the salt. I was like, Jesus, this is a lot of salt. And then same thing with the sushi. Everything was just amplified the way it all tasted. So it felt like I had cleansed. I had broken away the shield that was on my taste buds and gotten rid of that shit. So I had elevated energy at the end, fresh taste buds. I had a better mood and an epiphany, spiritual epiphanies. I had business epiphanies, and one of the biggest spiritual epiphanies I had was just like what my purpose is in life. Like, that became very, very clear to me. So guys, I am going to stop the video here, but you guys can ask questions below on the 72-hour fast if you have them. I recommend it for everybody that wants to build their discipline. You want a transformation, but I will say, I think everybody's going to get something different from it. It's just a matter of what you put into the fast when you do it. How much do you invest into the fast to get the most out of it? Love you guys. We'll see you in the comments. Conquer all.